Now, before you guys, watch this entire video, I just want to say thank you guys so much for, tuning in and giving my channel a shot. So, thank you so much for that. And if you enjoy it, I would love if you guys left a like, a comment, and possibly even subscribed. Thank you. Now, every day, more and more young people spend hours scrolling online, not just watching videos, but living inside of digital worlds, from TikTok and Twitch to Reddit to niche forums like looksmax.org. And as we become chronically online, our brains, beliefs, and even self-worth are being reshaped in ways we're just only beginning to understand. Today, we're diving into why being chronically online is changing how we think, with a focus on strange, influential trends like looks maxing, black pill ideology, and online personalities who have come to define a digital generation. Now, before I get started, it may sound like I'm hating on some creators or some people in the space, and that's not entirely true. I'm just sharing my opinions and personal beliefs on what I think is happening in the current online communities and forums and everything like that. So, being chronically online isn't just spending a lot of time on your phone or your laptop. It means your identity and your opinions are being shaped by algorithms and comments and online subcultures more than just the world around you. And according to behavioral research, heavy online engagement can blur the line between real life and digital life, making real world interaction feel less important and increasing emotional reliance on online validation. Now, FHC Health says people who are chronically online report feeling like they're constantly performing for an audience, checking likes, shares, and comments to judge their value. And that can cause anxiety, insecurity, and a distorted sense of self. And one reason this happens is algorithms. They don't serve you, they serve what keeps you watching. And if someone watching a controversial video, then the algorithm often suggests another, and then twisting a normal curiosity into an obsession. In some cases, that means harmless trends escalate into more extreme content like looks maxing or black pill ideology, because provocative ideas keep people engaged longer. Though these aren't niche corners of the internet anymore, on platforms like TikTok and YouTube, related hashtags like hashtag looksmaxing and hashtag PSLGod have reached billions of views, showing how easily these communities spread to mainstream audiences. And you might have heard of looksmaxing recently, and at its core, it's not completely terrible. It's a self-improvement trend. Whether that be changing your physical appearance, your weight, your skin, your teeth, going to the gym, and you can improve your life by doing all these things. And it sounds harmless, but the community has taken it much further than basic hygiene or confidence building. Many online users in these spaces reinforce the idea that looks are everything, and your value as a person depends on them. Your views and comments often link to extreme tactics and comparisons that harm self-esteem, especially among young men. These forms even promote dangerous DIY techniques and risky procedures, all in the belief that changing your face or body will change your destiny. Now, like I said, this isn't completely harmful, but there's a thin line that you can step over when it goes from going to the gym and eating healthier, and then snapping into, injecting lemon bottle or Aqualix into your face to give yourself these quote unquote hollow cheeks, or stuff of that nature, where it's just putting young men and young women at risk of their health and their mental just to look better. And the black pill has become an offshoot of incel culture at this point. It's a worldview that says people's success in dating, social standing, and life is entirely fixed by genetics and appearance. That means if you're not born a so-called Chad or Stacy, you're doomed. And there's many different terms that these people use, such as LTN or MTN or HTN, Chad Light, Adam, Chad, all these things. I'll put a little picture on, but basically it's a hierarchy system of how one looks. And many people who fall into this mindset then embrace, toxic language, ranking systems, and hierarchies that label people as subhuman or low tier, concepts that can fuel insecurity, resentment, or even radicalization. In addition to anonymous forums, individual personalities can accelerate these ideas. There's influencers like Clavicular and Androgenic, and they become central figures in promoting looks-focused philosophies. Their content often suggests that changing your appearance or adopting a certain mindset is the key to success. And for many young viewers, this message becomes internalized. And while specific controversies around these creators vary in interpretation online, many critics do argue that their streams and videos reinforce the same fixation on external validation that the broader community thrives on. Now, this dynamic can make the viewers feel like if they don't look a certain way or think a certain way, they're failures. That's one of the most insidious effects of being chronically online. Now, when you're chronically online, your brain chemistry and reward systems start to kind of change, and you get used to this constant stimulation and validation, and your anxiety heightens when you're offline. Research suggests that this habitual social media checking makes adolescents more sensitive to peer feedback and more compulsive in their behavior. This same mechanism that keeps someone glued to scrolling can make them internalize harmful ideologies way faster, especially when those ideas promote simple answers to complex problems like self esteem or societal worth. So, what does this all mean for us as a society? Being chronically online can make us more isolated, more reactive, and more dependent on external validation. It can warp how we see ourselves and how we interact with others. But it doesn't have to be this way. I do think that, like I said earlier, taking care of yourself is very quintessential to, being not necessarily successful, but, having your stuff together in life. You need to be able to take care of yourself, keep yourself clean, not necessarily look good, but, just look put together. But I think, as I said, there's a very fine line that if you jump over, you're kind of just taking a leap into nowhere. And that being said, it is great to, have these goals set and have a expectation of yourself that you didn't have once before, but it's too harmful to one's mind and their body to go through with some of these quote unquote hard maxing things that these influencers are doing. And being chronically online isn't just about the time we spend on a screen, it's about what ideas and beliefs those screens are shaping in us. When we stop questioning and start consuming without reflection, we allow digital culture, its algorithms, its influencers, its ideologies to define who we are. But here's the thing, black pill spaces and looks obsessed communities aren't the root of the problem, they're just symptoms. The bigger issue is what happens when we spend so much time online that the internet stops being a tool and starts becoming our reality. Because even if you've never watched those streams or entered these forums, being chronically online still changes the way you think, react, and see yourself, often without even realizing it. When you're chronically online, your brain gets used to this constant stimulation of notification and drama and trends, and the silence starts to feel a little bit uncomfortable, and the boredom feels like a problem that needs to be fixed. Instead of thinking deeply, we react quickly, and instead of forming opinions, we do adopt them. The internet rewards speed, not reflection, and over time, that rewires how we process information. You start to think in post, in screenshot, in takes instead of thoughts. Another effect of being chronically online is that life starts to feel like a performance. You don't just experience things, you imagine how they'd look online. People begin to measure moments by how shareable they are, opinions by how much attention they get, or even emotions by how relatable they seem. When everything becomes content, authenticity slowly disappears, and when validation comes from likes instead of a real connection, self-worth becomes very fragile very quickly. Now, chronically online spaces also do thrive on this outrage. The angrier or more extreme something is, the more it spreads. That creates a loop where people are constantly exposed to conflict, this negativity and comparison. Even if they never looked it up or asked for it, you see these highlights of other people's lives, perfect bodies, perfect routines, perfect opinions, and slowly your life starts to shrink and feel smaller, like if nothing changed. The most dangerous part isn't what we see online, it's what we lose offline. These real conversations that we had before, they get replaced by comment sections. This nuance gets replaced by labels, and people become profiles instead of humans. When you're chronically online, the world feels louder, but your actual life can feel way quieter. Now, that being said, the internet as a whole is not evil, and it's not trying to, reshape you as a person, but if you take it too far and you live inside of it, it comes at a cost. Being chronically online doesn't just affect what you watch, it affects how you think, how you judge yourself, and how you relate to others. Logging off isn't just about rejecting technology, it's about reclaiming your attention, your time, and your sense of reality. Because the more time you spend online trying to understand the world, the easier it is to forget how to live.